Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to this crisp, cool Canandaigua day. Thank you all for coming. Before we get started, I want to give you a little background as to why we're here today. The Canandaigua Cares project has been in the works for some time. The original scope of the project, as proposed to Congress, included the provision of 120 nursing home care beds housing the new single-story community living center with 50 domiciliary beds in renovated space on our existing campus. Outpatient services will be consolidated and upgraded in buildings 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, if I can direct your attention directly behind us, this is where the construction is going to take place. At this time, Mr. Jerry McDermott, if you could come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir.
Thank you, Craig. Ladies and gentlemen, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Craig Perkins, the Public Affairs Officer, which I should have done before I actually started talking, so excuse me. At this time, I would like to introduce our Acting Medical Center Director, Mr. Kenneth Piazza. But before I do, I'd like to say a few words about Mr. Piazza. Mr. Piazza has served in many positions throughout Vision 2. Before his assignment as the Acting Medical Center Director, he served as the Associate Medical Center Director for the Bath VA Medical Center and the Albany VA Medical Center in Albany, New York. Mr. Piazza has received recognition from CMS and the Administration on Aging for partnership with New York State government and several county governments. He has served as a national VHA consultant for quality and organizational system improvement and has been a VA Quality Award examiner. Mr. Piazza graduated from the VA's National System Redesign Coaches College in 2007. He was a systems redesign leader and taught systems improvement across upstate New York. Mr. Piazza has extensive experience in customer service programming and was a principal member of a national customer service program for VHA. Mr. Piazza graduated from George Washington University with a master's in health service administration and a minor in long-term care management. He is a graduate of the VHA Clinical Leadership Institute, Interagency Institute for Federal Health Care Executives, and he is a member of the College of Healthcare Executives and is a certified professional in healthcare quality. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Piazza.
I'm so glad you didn't tell them what year I graduated. Welcome, everyone. A warm welcome to you. Sorry we couldn't plan this on Friday where the temperature was expected to be, what, 70?
Yes.
Yes, sorry about that. We're doing our best. So welcome. It's a very exciting morning. Thank you for joining us today. Today marks a very, very special occasion for our community and our veterans in the Finger Lakes region. We are here to place shovels to dirt, back here, to officially break ground on a much anticipated construction project that will provide new state-of-the-art healthcare facilities for our area veterans. Phase 1, this is called Phase 1, includes all new primary care and specialty care clinic space, as well as new radiology suite and a new dental clinic. But there's a little more. It also helps us modernize and improve our existing infrastructure, especially with electrical systems. This project is one of several that we are engaged in or planning at this time to ensure that we are prepared to provide the highest quality services for our veterans into the future. As you may know, We broke ground last fall on our new Rochester Outpatient Clinic and expect completion of that facility in the spring of 2019. We are also planning for Phase 2 here in Canandaigua that would provide all-new community living center, housing for nursing home level of patients, and a newly renovated domiciliary. A beautiful facility is planned for that. This is all made possible by the strong partnerships and support of all of you here today, actually. All of you are working with us to ensure that our veterans get the highest quality, veteran-focused care that is possible and that they have earned and deserve. Thank you to our elected officials, to the Army Corps of Engineers, to Pike, PJ Dick Joint Venture, and all of our partners in this endeavor. We certainly couldn't do it without you. So thank you and welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Mayor Ellen Palomini. But before I do, I want to say a few words about Mayor Palomini. Ellen grew up in north of Utica in the foothills of the Adirondacks and attended SUNY Brockport and Nazareth College. Upon graduation, she became a teacher in the Canandaigua City School District. Later, Ellen became a principal and retired in 2010 after 47 years with the district. Interest in community has always been a focus for Ellen. She served as the first female chair of the City Planning Commission and then was elected to the City Council as an at-large council member, and in 1991 became mayor of Canandaigua. Ellen has been active in the New York Conference of Mayors and served as president in 2006. She continues as a member of the Executive Committee. The National League of Cities Small Cities Council also named Ellen chairman in 2013. Currently, Ellen enjoys being back in the classroom as an adjunct professor at Finger Lakes Community College. Community service continues to be important to Ellen as she is active in several community organizations, including Ontario County Partnership, Rotary, United Way, Comfort Care at the Light Hill, and Boy Scouts. Ellen has an ardent interest in the arts and strongly supports all areas of visual and performing arts. She is a longtime member of the Ontario County Arts Council and works to increase public and performing arts in Canandaigua. Ellen is in her 27th year as mayor and works hard for the Canandaigua community. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Palomini.
It's a little disarming to hear how many years you've been doing things, but I have to tell you, it is a thrill to be here today to see the Canandaigua VA embark on another part of the CARES Commission's plan for this facility. We came close to losing the VA several years ago, and it was really the work of many of the people who are here today who helped us ensure that it would be with us. And as I say to people in the community, the VA speaks of Canandaigua. It is Canandaigua. And as was mentioned, I came here to teach as a result of my uncle being a patient here in the early 60s. And he happened to be my godfather. And so that meant that I could be close to him and visit him. But and my entire family has had connections to the VA during their time here in Canandaigua. I'm really thrilled at the work that's being done, and it's wonderful to see people from the various divisions of the military here today, from Louisville, from Cincinnati, from Buffalo, and I thank you all for coming. Wish the weather were a bit warmer, but I don't have anything to say about that. And all of the staff here at the VA, they're so accommodating, and they're just very community-oriented also. I don't know how many are aware of the fact that they allow the public to come in bad weather and use the tunnel system as a walking route. And I can tell you, you can pick up 2,000 steps by doing one loop. But again, thank you all for coming. I look forward to watching the progress as this moves forward. And then the next phase will also be a wonderful addition to this facility. And thank you to all of the people who supported that CARES process. Really, it has helped strengthen Canandaigua. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Miss Allison Hunt on behalf of Congressman Tom Reed. But before I do, I'd like to share a couple of things with you about Congressman Tom Reed. He was first elected to the House of Representatives in a special election in November of 2010. Congressman Tom Reed currently represents New York's 23rd District. He serves as a member of the Ways and Means Committee, which is responsible for addressing issues of tax, policy, trade, healthcare, and Social Security. He sits on the Trade, Health, and Human Resources subcommittees as well. He serves as co-chair of the Congressional Diabetes Caucus, the House Manufacturing Caucus, and the Problem Solvers Caucus. The mission that drives Tom is to continue to be accessible and help anyone in need. A caring and accessible leader, Tom values the thoughts and concerns of the people from across the district, which is why he has held more than 200 public town hall meetings since taking office. Congressman Reed has an affinity for veterans, as his father was a career Army officer who worked his way through the enlisted ranks and was a decorated veteran of both World War II and the Korean War. So on behalf of U.S. Congressman Tom Reed, let's welcome Ms. Allison Hunt.
Thank you for the warm welcome. I think me and my fellow speakers here are happy to be a little bit of a wind wall for all of you out there. It's always nice to have that breeze coming off Canandaigua Lake. We would hope it'd be a little bit of a warm breeze today here in April, but it is upstate New York, and as you can see, some flurries are flying. So. But that won't take away from the celebration that we have here today. I am so honored to be here on behalf of Tom. He is actually on his way to D.C. right now, or he'd be here himself. I know many of our politicians are, and that's why they've sent representatives, because this is so important to this community and this region. The VA actually sits just outside of our congressional district, but that doesn't take away from the commitment that we have to this operation here. We have so many veterans that work here, that are treated here, and Tom is so proud to remain committed to this facility and the facilities in our district as well. He is truly proud to be the son of a 20-year Army veteran, and one of Tom's most prized possessions is the Silver Star that his father earned in World War II. And Tom has that on his wall in his office. He has a case of his father's medals, and he uses that as a reminder that anybody that served is deserving of the same kind of treatment that his father received. His father did pass when he was 2. But he has used that experience and used the story of his father to really reflect on and remember that every veteran deserves proper care that the VA provides. And we know that this is a great system. We'll continue to work with the VA, partner with the VA to make it stronger for the future generations. And I'm just so thrilled to be here today, and really wanted to send Tom's congratulations as well. So thank you very much.
On behalf of U.S. Congressman Chris Collins, Mr. Patrick McKinney will say a few words. But before we go on to Mr. McKinney, I'd like to say a few words about U.S. Congressman Chris Collins. He represents New York's 27th Congressional District in the House of Representatives. The 27th District of New York includes 105 towns spread out over 8 counties in western New York and the Finger Lakes. The residents of New York 27 first elected Mr. Collins to Congress in November of 2012, and in 2014, he handily won re-election with over 70% of the vote. In 2016 general election, Congressman Chris Collins won New York's 27th congressional district decisively, earning 68% of the vote. Congressman Collins is a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, where he serves on 3 subcommittees: Health Subcommittee, Communications and Technology Subcommittee, and the Oversight and Investigation Subcommittee. Before being elected to Congress, Chris served as Erie County executive and built a career as a business owner and entrepreneur, creating and saving hundreds of American jobs in western New York. Without further ado, let's introduce Mr. Patrick McKinney on behalf of U.S. Congressman Collins.
Thank you. The Congressman is remiss that he couldn't be here this morning. This is a beautiful facility, and this groundbreaking is truly remarkable, and we're so beyond proud to have it in our district. I'd like to remind everybody here, especially veterans, that we do have an open door policy. If there's anything our office could ever do for you to pay back anything, because you gave everything to us. This groundbreaking today, phenomenal. We are so happy to be here, and we've actually brought a congressional commendation and to present to the VA from our office, from the House of Representatives. So, Mr. Piazza.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of all our veterans.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker will be Mr. Chris Zeltman. He's the Regional Director of U.S. Senator Charles Schumer's Finger Lakes office. Mr. Schumer can't be here, so Mr. Zeltman will represent him. Before Mr. Zeltman speaks, I'd like to say a few words about Senator Chuck Schumer. He has been and always will be a tireless fighter for the state of New York. He visits all 62 counties every year and has delivered countless large and small victories across the state, from massive snowstorms in western New York to numerous floods across upstate. Senator Schumer has been there to deliver aid, support New Yorkers in their time of need. Just last week, Senator Schumer was here at the Canandaigua VA Medical Center discussing a phase of this very project we are recognizing here today. Senator Schumer was the leader in obtaining the funding for this Canandaigua VA Medical Center construction project. So let's please welcome Mr. Chris Zeltman on behalf of Senator Chuck Schumer.
Thank you. Appreciate the introduction and appreciate the opportunity to be here with all of you again today. I would first like to thank all of our veterans and active duty military, and just ask if you could raise your hand so we could all thank you as well, or stand. Thank you. It's our duty as our veterans who have fought and defended us, our sacred duty to ensure that our nation and every American cares for our servicemen and women when they come home. And this clinic that we're going to break ground on today is really a prescription for good health for both our veterans and also good health for our VA campus. As Mayor Palomini reflected on, there was a time about 15 years ago when this campus was in jeopardy, but I know Senator Schumer, standing alongside many of our veterans here today and our elected officials, work together in partnership with the VA to take steps to modernize the facility, to make it invest in it so that it can provide 21st century care to support both the VA's mission and 21st century care for our veterans. And together with the guidance from our Army Corps of Engineers through the construction phase of this phase 1 and knock on wood, phase 2 coming up, this is a real project coming to fruition here that's going to be a great investment for the Canandaigua VA facility. So appreciate and thank you for all your support. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this time to recognize some of our other dignitaries and very important personnel that are involved with this project. First, I'd like to recognize Colonel Antoinette Gant, right here. She is the commander of the Louisville District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, headquartered out of Louisville, Kentucky. So now you can clap. I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Colonel Adam Chokinski, Commander, Buffalo District, U.S. Army Corps Engineers, headquartered out of Buffalo, New York. And I also like to recognize Mr. Stephen Durrett, Director of Programs for the Great Lakes and Ohio River Division, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and Senior Project Executive for the Canandaigua VA Medical Center project. And then also we have Taryn. Where are you, Taryn? From Senator Helmut's office. Could you please let everybody see you? Okay. At this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to Mr. Kenneth Piazza.
You notice the sun came out? If you all want to move from here over, feel free. Especially those of you without coats. All right, couldn't pass it up. As you can tell, a lot of modernization going on. It'll take us into the future for our veterans with beautiful, beautiful facilities for many years to come. And we're very, very grateful to many people, as I mentioned earlier, including the one coming up that I'm going to introduce, Stella Fiotes. She was named Executive Director for the Office of Construction and Facilities Management at the Department of Veterans Affairs in January 2013. In this capacity, she is responsible for the planning, design, and construction of all major projects greater than $10 million. In addition, she acquires real property for use by the VA through the purchase of land and buildings, as well as long-term lease acquisitions. The Office of Construction and Facilities Management delivers to veterans high-quality buildings, additions, large-scale renovations, and structural enhancements. Ms. Fiotes also manages the crucial areas of facility, sustainability, seismic corrections, physical security, and a historic preservation of VA facilities. Her team's scope of services includes all branches of the VA, including ours, the Veterans Health Administration, and the Veterans Benefits Administration, and the National Cemetery Administration. Prior to assuming this position, she held national leadership positions in construction, property, and facilities management at NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. She holds a master's degree in architecture and urban design from the Technical University of Berlin, Germany. She is a registered architect in Washington, D.C., and is affiliated with the American Institute of Architects, the Society for College and University Planners, and the Society of American Military Engineers. May I ask you to come up to the podium with this.
that introduction, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few brief words here today. It is always good to get out of DC, for obvious reasons, and get close to the medical centers and our clinics and our facilities across the country where the real action is happening. So I really appreciate this opportunity today. The VA has been focusing resources on strengthening our foundational services and on increasing access to care for our veterans. We are all committed to improving the well-being and experience of veterans receiving care from the VA. Modernizing our infrastructure is a critical aspect of improving both the access and the experience for our veterans. And we are proud to be constructing facilities like this one to meet the needs of our veterans. This is the first project to break ground under our partnership with the United States Army Corps of Engineers, acting as VA's construction agent. We hope to learn from this project and will apply those lessons learned and best practices to our other Corps partnered projects across the country. We're looking forward to this partnership at this specific location as well. This project will bring new utility connections to meet the higher demands of modern medical care. The new outpatient clinic building and renovation of Building 1 will bring medical services on the campus to a central location in a state-of-the-art facility. All this while maintaining the historic character of the campus and the courtyard we are in today. We've also incorporated many environmentally sensitive features into the design that will contribute to its LEED Silver equivalent status. In addition, we are moving forward toward the construction of the Phase 2 Community Living Center and Domiciliary, a project that also includes additional building renovations to support the outpatient clinic. Both these projects will augment and improve the delivery of services to our veterans in the Finger Lakes community. This and future construction projects are a testament to VA's commitment to providing the highest level of health care to our veterans and to creating an organization that works to provide the services they need and they deserve. In closing, I want to thank our partners in this endeavor, the VA Medical Center, the Corps of Engineers, the architects and engineers, and the contractor. And I would be remiss not to mention my own construction and facilities management staff who have brought us this far. I look forward to the day we all gather here again to do the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Sun disappeared again. Seriously, if you want to sit over here, go ahead. All right. The next person we'd like to introduce, Thomas F. Judson, Jr. A distinguished career for sure. Began his career in construction, working as a laborer and carpenter apprentice during the school summer breaks for John B. Pike & Sons, general contracting company founded by his great-grandfather. Having worked his way through the ranks, Tom became president of the company in 1975. In 1985, he established the Pike Company, one of New York State's most respected and successful construction firms. He currently serves as chairman of the Pike Companies. He's highly active in the community as well as the construction industry. Tom currently serves on many committees, Executive Committee and Board of Trustees for RIT, the Executive Committee and past chair and the Board of Trustees for the Center for Governmental Research, the Executive Committee and Board of Directors for the Business Council of New York State, the World's President's Organization, the Executive Committee. He's an Executive Committee member on the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce. As an alumnus of Yale University and Cornell University, Tom has remained committed to the community. In recognition of his business achievements and his contributions to the community, Tom was honored with the 2000 Civic Award for Commerce and Industry from the Greater Rochester Metro Chamber of Commerce and the Rochester Business Journal. And he was inducted into the Rochester Hall of Fame, Business Hall of Fame, in 2019. And he lives here in Victor, not too far away.
This is all the time I was going to occupy with that.
Thank you.
Apologies for that. It was way too extensive, but this really is wonderful for me on a personal basis to have the Pike Company and PJ Dick to serve for the next 4.5 years as your partner in delivering this exciting project. And we hope we'll be successful once the next phase is funded and staying longer. Especially at this stage of my career, 4.5 years takes me quite a way into the future. This is personally very exciting because my wife and I have been residents of Ontario County for 49 of our almost 50 years of marriage. Also, you mentioned Thomas F. Judson Jr. Well, the F stands for Fury, and Thomas Fury lived on Howell Street. My great-grandfather, he was a veteran of the Civil War, served in the Army of the Potomac. So I sort of have a sense he's keeping an eye on us over here. My grandmother, his daughter, married my grandfather in Sonnenberg Gardens. So it's really very special for me personally that we have this opportunity to work with you for the next 4.5 years, and that you've given me the opportunity to share that thought. And then Rufus, who is now our CEO, my son, he's named after my wife's father, Rufus Wesson, who was battalion commander of the 209th during World War II, served from before Pearl Harbor to when he was wounded in northern Italy days before VE Day. If it hadn't been for the medical treatment that he received from his wounds, Rufus wouldn't be here because his grandfather wouldn't have survived. So there are all kinds of personal reasons that this is an incredibly exciting assignment. On behalf of our company, PJ Dick, Cliff Rao is over there, who is my counterpart at PJ. I want to say that I get the opportunity to come in the beginning and then come to the ribbon cutting, but I'd like to just introduce a couple of the members of our team and ask them to raise their hand because they're going to become very much a part of the fabric of this institution for the next 4 or 5 years. We hope longer, as I say, with the next phase. But Larry Fuentes, raise your hand. Our project exec, Bill Hartle. Danny Wolcott is superintendent, and Sean Cahill over here. I'm not mentioning all of them. Perhaps all of our team should just raise their hand in unison. Because we're going to get to all of them. I live down the street, but these are the people who do the work, and these are the people that are the reason our two companies have been as successful as we have been, and we're thrilled to become a partner with the Corps of Engineers, with the VA. We both had great experiences with each institution, and we're thrilled to be here, and thank you for this opportunity. Sorry for that resume thing.
I think you deserve it. Well, the last person I want to introduce is someone I've been tooling around in a car with the last couple of days. Dr. Joan McInerney, our network director for VISN 2. MD, MBA, MA, and fellow in the American College of Emergency Physicians. Thank you. This is difficult through chattering teeth. She's the network director for all the VA medical centers in New York State and New Jersey that comprises our VISN 2. And she has been our network director since May 2016. This region includes 10 medical centers and 59 VA outpatient clinics in New York and New Jersey that serve over 500,000 veterans. Dr. McInerney is board certified in emergency medicine and internal medicine. She joined us in April 2011 as the Chief Medical Officer of VISN 3 before becoming the network director.
Thank you for having me here. Mr. Piazza, Mayor Palemi, Allison Hunt representing Mr. Reed, Congressman Reed, Patrick McKinney representing Representative Chris Collins, Chris Eltman representing our Senator Chuck Schumer, and our Executive Director from CFM in the Department of Veterans Affairs, Stella Fiotos. It was a pleasure to meet Stella for the first time. We've talked many times on the phone. And Mr. Judson, as well as all our distinguished guests here today, are committed and brave veterans for whom this project is what we're here for, and as well as the dedicated Canandaigua staff who I see in the background. So good morning to everybody. It gives me great pleasure to be here today on this special occasion, the groundbreaking ceremony for the Canandaigua CARES project. This project will enhance the ability of the wonderful Canandaigua staff to provide exemplary services to our veterans in state-of-the-art facilities that are patient-centered and evidence-based. These facilities enhance the VA's commitment to advancing access, choice, modernization, and efficiency. On behalf of all the staff at our 10 facilities and 59 CBOCs across VISN 2, VA New York, New Jersey, I want to welcome everybody and congratulate them. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Brigadier General Mark Toy. Brigadier General Toy assumed the command of the Great Lakes and Ohio River divisions headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio on August 31st, 2016. The division is one of 9 U.S. Army Corps of Engineer regional commands and has 7 engineer districts totaling over 4,100 people operating in 17 states across the country, and is charged with directing federal water resource development in the Great Lakes and the Ohio River basins, with infrastructure valued at over $80 billion. With an annual operating and construction budget exceeding $2 billion, missions include planning, construction, and operations of navigation structures and flood damage reduction, hydropower, environmental restoration, water conservation, recreation, and disaster assistance. This division also executes military construction in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, with design and construction of barracks, hospitals, airfields, and family housing on military installations. Brigadier General Toy hails from Huntington Beach, California. He graduated from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point with a Bachelor of Science degree in Operations Research. He holds a Master's degree in Business Administration from Boston University, a Master of Science degree. So sweet. I won't put you through this, you heard I'm from Huntington Beach, California. It's cold on the end there. It's really great coming up onto here. I walked through the hallways here and ran into some of the veterans, and they looked at me kind of surprised that, wow, you're a general. And it reminded me of this time when I went out to an event, and I was in rural Kentucky, out in the way out yonder. And I got introduced to this elderly lady, and they said, "This is General Toy."
And she looked at me really kind of disappointed. And she said, "You're a general?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a general." She said, "Well, you know, you're not over 6 feet tall and you don't look like John Wayne." So I said to her, "So if it's any consolation, my wife feels the same way." So I'm just really happy to be here today on this important event. The next best thing to do on a ribbon cutting ceremony is a groundbreaking event. So I'm really happy to be here. Today is really a culmination of a lot of hard work between the Department of Veterans Affairs and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And I can't think of a greater privilege than to know all the work that we did today will lead to better health care for all our veterans in the heart of the Finger Lakes region in VA Canandaigua. Again, I grew up in Southern California in the 70s, and my dad was a doctor, and he had a private practice that he had, and he worked 5 days a week. But on Wednesdays, my dad would always only work a half a day. And I wondered what he was doing. Was he out playing golf or doing something else? But he'd close up the shop. And one day I asked him, I said, Dad, what are you doing on those Wednesdays when you shut the practice down? He said, I'm teaching. And I said, well, okay, maybe he's teaching. Maybe one day I'll check to see if he's actually doing. But as I come to find out later, my dad would actually go to the VA Long Beach Hospital and participate. He was a veteran himself, a Navy doctor. But the fact that he would take the time from his private practice and to take care of actually the doctors that were providing services to our veterans really hit home with me. And so VA hospitals have a very special place in my heart. The Veterans Affairs have a long and historic role for caring for our nation's veterans, and here in VA Canandaigua, they've been doing it since 1933. The Corps, we have has long and historic role of providing engineering solutions for our nation's toughest challenges. So it only makes sense that these two organizations would come together to do work here. This partnership that we've been doing with VA, I've had some experience in my previous job when I was out at South Pacific Division, where we have a very extensive VA program. I was talking with Stella about it earlier on this morning in the warmth of the building next door. If I think it, I feel it. But I'm really excited now that we're bringing a lot of these great VA facilities to the Great Lakes and Ohio River Division, particularly here. I want everyone to know, as was pointed out earlier, you have the entire 4,100 plus members of the Great Lakes Ohio River Division helping out here. We talked about Louisville being here, and then our executing district, Buffalo being here. We're going to do a great job for you, and we're excited to be part of it. Our motto in the Great Lakes and Ohio River Division is building strong and taking care of people, and I think you would agree with me, the strength of all organizations are its people, and we really believe that. So whether we're managing our nation's waterways or reducing risks, we are America's engineers, and we'll do our best to take care of people. I just returned from a deployment to Afghanistan, a short deployment. And when I was there, I saw the great work from our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and I'm reminded for their sacrifice, for what they're doing, when it's time for them to finish their active duty time, they deserve the best care. And so building facilities like this allows us to take care of them, our veterans in upstate New York. So thank you very much. Hopefully I followed the 3 B's of cold speeches: be brief, be inspirational, and then be seated. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask all of you to adjourn inside to get more coffee, cookies, and water. Okay, Mr. Piazza, you had something?
Yeah, invite you in for ice lattes.
Dignitaries, we need to take a photo, please.
One, say coffee.
Hold one up. Up this way.
Don't think too much. All right.